Hey, welcome back to Internet Money, where we talk shop with real deal entrepreneurs who are actually making money online. If you've been in the online coaching space long enough or digital marketing long enough, you have probably seen a big, hairy man who loves America, he loves God, and all things digital marketing, talk about these things. And that is our guest today, Trey Bearor. Trey is someone who has been in the trenches on building courses and funnels and offers and has coached hundreds of people on how to make money online. So I'm actually Trey's media buyer. And so we've been able to just nerd out and geek out and collab on a lot of amazing offers and funnels, all things copywriting and webinars, all the fun stuff. And Trey is just really a genuine, humble guy who is very talented, very experienced, and knowledgeable in the space. So I was very excited to bring him on here and be able to bring this conversation to you. Trey lives an incredible lifestyle built completely around his core strengths, his beliefs, his passions, but he did this intentionally. And it wasn't easy. It still isn't easy, but he works fairly minimal hours throughout the week while running a very successful online business. So for those of us wondering, is it even possible to make money online? Yes, Trey is a great example of someone who has kind of accomplished this holy grail of internet money. In this episode, we talk a lot about mindset. We talk about content and his philosophy on content marketing and how to get started with that. Getting out of your head and the ups and downs of this whole game, and including webinars and funnels and all the good stuff. So I'm so excited to bring you this conversation. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Let's just dive into the latest, man. What kind of stuff are you working on right now? You're an internet marketer to the fullest, in the realest extent, and you're in the trenches. You're doing it every day. You're not, obviously you're deep in the content game, and you're preaching and teaching and coaching, but you're also in the trenches. You're doing it. You're studying the stuff, and obviously I learn a ton from you, and everyone else is learning a ton from you, but I'm very curious what that actually looks like. What kind of campaigns are you working on right now? What kind of offers are you working on right now? And again, I mean, you can be as specific or as vague as you want to be. But yeah, let's give the audience a little bit of a look into what's going on in Trey's world right now in terms of, internet money.
Yeah. So we got a lot going on right now. I mean, you know a lot about it. Like we're doing two different things at once right now. And one thing that's working right now, it was just kind of like a turn the lights on and let's get it started again, right? Like it was just we went with the whole webinar model. Like we started doing that back in 2019. I started doing that in 2019. I was listening to Russell Brunson talk about perfect webinar and doing all that. So I was like, all right, well, this is the way. I see a lot of people with that plaque, the 2 Comma Club thing. So I was like, this is the route I should go. So I did that and then really tweaked that bad boy until it was for probably 2 years I did it live. And it was good. In the beginning, the first year was awful. I would say the first 6 months, it was just awful. I didn't know what I was doing. The messaging was off. And then finally we just got it. So it hit. So then we obviously scaled that and really started growing that. And then as every internet marketer gets in their head, right? So I was in my head about a lot of things. I ended up turning that off. There's a lot of different reasons. I didn't know if I wanted to do that anymore. I didn't know if it was the route I wanted to go down. But then, basically what happened was COVID hit. The whole world lost their damn mind, right? Thought we were all going to die from this thing, which we don't need to go into that because I don't want to piss off a bunch of people. But
if you guys need to understand Trey's stance on this kind of stuff a little more, go follow Trey. He's not shy about his political or religious beliefs, and it's beautiful. It's
yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, I stir the pot a little bit, but when that happened, I really looked back and asked myself, and I was like, hey, how do I really want to serve? What can I do right now to make people kind of like less weird? And I just thought, like I've been doing this thing now for a little bit, and I love it. It's changed my life. Like my business was crushing. So that's why I kind of turned into more of like the digital marketing. And like, that's when I was like, I want to teach people how to do this stuff because it's so much more fun. Maybe I'm a nerd. I don't know, but like, I love this stuff. And so, I just decided, I want to teach people courses and coaching programs, like how to do that from scratch. And so I just kind of leaned in towards that. And, I kept the webinar still going to sell that other offer that had nothing to do with digital marketing. But and I was like, I want to give this a go. And it started off pretty good because I had a good audience, So like I had a good organic audience there. And so when I went to launch something, I was like, I want to teach people how to create their own courses. It started going. The route that I went was instead of webinar, because like I don't want to build out a whole webinar, figure out the messaging and deal with all that. I decided to go with like a low ticket offer. I did like a challenge, called it a boot camp. And so I did that. And then after the boot camp, I would pitch a higher ticket offer. And that's what I just kind of rinsed and repeated, did that for a little bit. And then did what every internet marketer does, gets in their head again. Right. And then that was the smarter. So like I got my feet wet in a little bit of webinar. I've got my feet wet in, high ticket sales and low ticket sales and all that stuff. And so now it's just like, we're just continuing on that journey right now, where we're at right now.
So, a lot to kind of pick apart there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, your core product, what you're delivering right now to your tribe, your people, your audience, is essentially teaching them how to make their own course. You're teaching them how to do digital marketing, how to create digital products, all of that stuff. I mean, am I missing anything there?
No, that's it. Yeah.
So what, let's dive into that right now. I mean, obviously you've been doing this for years now. And is it still working? I mean, I think with the whole digital marketing situation, it's constantly changing and evolving, and everyone's content is like, this is dead, this is dead, this is dead, this is the new way. So, with your core offering right now, your core product, whether it's courses, digital products, digital marketing, whatever, is that still working right? I mean, right now it's 2024. Is that still the thing? I mean, what can you say about that?
Yeah, and I agree with you, man. Like that's just a marketing ploy to say this is dead, try this new way, right? Webinars still work, challenges still work, sales calls still work. It all still works. In my opinion, I think you need to follow a strategy that meets your lifestyle. Like, me, like I hate doing sales calls. I hate them. And I understand like sales calls is how you sell a high ticket. And I've seen other people doing challenges sell high ticket. I just watched a guy the other day do a workshop, sold a high ticket, So it's like, in my opinion, it's like, what are your core values and what do you want to do? Like for me, I want to be on the boat. I want to be out in the garden. I want to be doing stuff around the house all day. I don't want to be on sales calls all day long. And I could hire someone else to do it, hire a team and stuff like that. But for me, I'm like, how do I want my day to look? And based off of that, I can also say, well, how do I want my business to look as well? So when I look at my business, the way I have it set up right now is I'm only doing 2 calls in the week. That's it. Group calls once a week. That's it. Right. Everything else I have packed up into a course, a digital product that they can go and learn that shit. Because I'm like, in my opinion, if I'm repeating the same stuff over and over and over again, put that into a course, a self-paced thing that they can go by. As they're going through it, they're going to have questions. They're going to have roadblocks. They're going to get in their head. Right. So coach them through that each week. Or if we have a support group, ask your questions in there. So yeah, I truly believe like the whole, like this is dead is just a dumb marketing thing. And there's just tons of ways of building a business.
Dude, so this is insane. I don't know if the listeners just picked up on this, but you're doing 2 calls a week.
Right.
Like that's your work schedule. That's a straight up mic drop. I mean, that's a lifestyle, like pinnacle essentially. I mean, that is like incredible. And you're saying that that type of situation is possible.
Yeah.
I mean, on the one hand, definitely possible. On the other hand, kind of behind the curtain, I imagine it's not like just so easy to make that happen. I mean, it definitely probably takes some work and probably a lot of frustration to get to that point or even maintain that point. But so obviously, on the one hand, applauding you, you're the man. You like have achieved what most digital marketers and online business owners try to or say they want to try to achieve. But on the other hand, like, what does it actually look like behind the scenes to like get to that point where you can make internet money with literally 2 calls a week? Like, that's insane. And just one more point is, I can attest to, like, you're out with your family, man. You're out on the boat, on the lake, in your garden, building this homestead situation. Like, it's really, really cool to see that. But obviously you designed that whole thing. And yeah, I mean, like, what does that look like behind the curtain, like, to actually get that going? Because that's crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what when we looked at this business. So I had 2 different businesses, right? The first one was where I was selling it through the webinar, and that was great. I mean, I do one webinar once a week, an hour and a half. Then I do one call that matches that. So there's like 4 hours maybe from that. With this new business, when we looked at like, okay, we want to shift and we want to teach people digital marketing stuff. Like, that was the first question. I was like, how do I want my business to be? There's all these rules, like, oh, you have to do it this way, you have to do this way. And I was like, screw that. Like, I make the rules. Like, if I want my business to look like this, I can make it that happen, right? And so it's a lot, though. I mean, like, I told this to someone the other day. I was like, the hardest part of building your business is just you being in your head. Everything else is easy. It really is. Like if you look at, and like when I look at, like, when I get frustrated with stuff, before I like I'll before I'm like, what would Chandler do, right? What I'll do is I'll just look at, like, okay, well, what's the advice I would give my students? And most of it is like, okay, well, what's missing in the pipeline here? Do I need more leads? Do I need more customers? Okay, how do I get more customers? Well, I need more leads. Well, how do I get more leads? Well, I need more traffic, right? If you just break it down, you're like, well, that's easy. Like, now I see where my problem is. Like, that's what I mean by easy. The hard part is the mindset. It is the chatter that you have between your ears and getting in your head and looking at other people who are also marketers and saying, this shit is dead. This is what you actually need to do. And so you go and change everything. Like, that's the hard part.
Dude, that's so crazy. And especially, I feel like you would think that, the more you learn, the more you know, like, the more that mindset stuff like suddenly just solves itself. But I feel like in a way, sometimes it gets worse, where it's like, the more you know, the more you get in your head, because now you see all the options. Now you see all the different funnel structures you could do, or strategies or tactics you can implement. I recently experienced this where I like tried to run ads for my own offer, or, I launched my own Shopify store, my own thing. And it's insane. Like, I can go and create campaigns like the back of my hand for any client, just pump them out. I know exactly what I have to do and what I have to tell them to do. And it's like so easy. And then when I go and do it myself, I'm like, what do I do? Like, I don't know anything. And it's like, oh, well, I could do it this way or this way. But I don't know. I feel like, and I mean, you're in the coaching space, so, you know this more than anyone, but maybe that's why, like, the coaching dynamic is so helpful, is because you kind of need that person there that you trust, first of all, and that knows their stuff. Like, you don't want to get some random dude, but I think you feel like you kind of need that person that you can trust to almost give you permission to do the thing that you already know you need to do. And it's so dumb, but it's that way. So yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like that's like, I experienced that recently. I totally see what you're saying. And it just sucks, man.
I think everyone experiences that, though. And if they don't, then they're bullshitting you, right? Like,
yeah.
It's just one of those things where it's like, and I kind of write down, like, to myself, like, what I'm going through, because I know in a couple of years from now, I'm going to be helping that same person who's saying the same exact thing. So I'm kind of thinking as like a marketing copy type thing. But I wrote down like, I can make people so much money, but why can I help myself make my own money? Right. Like I just made
Dude, that is the worst.
$100,000 months. Why am I not having $100,000 months? Right. Maybe you're like, I just made that client this monthly recurring. Why am I not doing that? Right.
Yep.
It sucks. And I think it's a lot because like what you said, you have to like get permission. And I know I've paid money to have other people give me permission. I've paid money for someone to like look into my business and say, oh, like slap me around being like, you're in your head, dude. Like knock it off. Go all this shit. Get after it. Stop it. That is truly the tough part of the game.
Dude, 100%. I want to get down and dirty and vulnerable, but yeah, I mean, we talk about limiting beliefs all the time in copywriting and in sales. What do you feel like are some of your biggest limiting beliefs, and how do you overcome those?
So right now, I would say some of my limiting beliefs are like, I don't know if I should go on a rant on this, dude, but I'm gonna. Sorry.
Do it.
So you see like the MRR, the master resale rights shit, right, going on. And I mean, I talked to you about it. I'm like, and I see them and I'm watching them and it just gives me such nausea. Like I don't know what it is. And I think I'm like, man, like these people are giving such a bad rep to the industry because they're like, hey, I bought a course and instantly now I'm a digital marketer. It's like, I always say it's like, I have no experience in plumbing, but I bought this course about how to be a plumber. Now I'm a plumber. Right. So I see that and I'm like, damn these people, because true digital marketers, like they have been in the trenches. They know, low ticket offer. They know LTO. They know return on ad spend. Like they knew all that shit. And then like I asked someone the other day, I was like, hey, what's your, I asked them like stupid question. They're like, I don't know what you're asking. It's like, you're not a digital marketer, right? So I like, that's one thing that just drives me nuts. And like, I have to stay focused. And then like, I get in my head a lot because I'm like, I'm just some little guy. Like there's so many other coaches out there, I'm like, should I niche down? Like, I'm very generic with I want you to create a course. Should I niche down a little bit? And like, should I be like the funnel guy or the low ticket offer guy or like, you know what I mean? And so it's just getting so crowded to the point where it's like for me, I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like that's my thing right now. It's like, I see these people over here who are kind of giving a shit name. And I see all these like big names. I'm like, I can't compete with them, And so right now, what I'm trying to do in my business is really trying to figure out the exact messaging and the exact, like maybe sub niche. I don't know. But that's what I'm doing like with my content. I've been kind of, if I use my content, it's kind of like fishing. Like I'm seeing like when I cast it out there, what's actually like getting bites. Like, oh, that's got more. Ooh, that's getting more clicks or whatever it may be. And from there, I'm like, I can kind of start to see what the message is a little bit more. So that's where I'm at right now, is just the messaging and like kind of leaning in and seeing like, where's my spot in the market right now?
On that note, while we're just talking about it, like, how do you do that? Like, how do you, if someone's like, because I deal with that all the time. I'm like, okay, am I this broad type of digital marketing ninja, or do I focus on like the health niche, or like, do I niche down like you're talking about? Like, how do you use organic content in particular to kind of like fish out your people, or like, I don't know, do you feel like you're a little bit more systemized in that approach, or you're like, how should I go about doing that?
So like a very common thing you probably have heard is people buy from people they know, like, and trust, right? So if you go on my social media right now, you're going to see and say to yourself, either this guy is for me or he's not, right? And we all know what I'm talking about. So there's one very easy way right there to figure out, okay, is this my guy or is this not my guy, right? So that to me is like one thing, is like I plant a flag on what I believe in and what I stand for, and I don't budge. on that. Like, you can give me all the stats you want. I don't care. This is where I stand politically, and I'll post about it. I was that guy who was like, no, I can't talk politics and religion. Then one day I was like, you know what? Like, yeah, the hell I can. And I really started talking about it. And that was one little piece right there of like casting out to the fish to see like what gets a bite. That's what I noticed a lot of people connected with. And I was like, maybe I should kind of lean into this and talk more about this, because we're at a time right now in the world where I think a lot of people are either scared to talk about it or whatever. But if they have someone they can kind of be like, yes, right? Then yeah, I'll be that guy. But that's one very simple way is stand on your beliefs, right? What's your hill you want to die on type thing.
That's cool.
That's one way that's one very easy way that I've noticed. Like when I'm throwing stuff on TikTok, like I'll post like 4 or 5 like main things on TikTok. Like it might be me out on the garden, right? So I'm probably pulling like homesteaders toward me. Or gardeners towards me. I'll also be out on the boat and the family, right? So I'll bring parents towards me, or political stuff. I'll bringing the that side towards me, right? And so like I'm bringing all these people towards me, and then they're learning and they're looking at my stuff, being like, I like this guy. I agree with it with stuff he's saying, but how is like I also want to know about this other thing that he's doing as well, right? Like for example. I was on TikTok live the other day. I was like, you told me, hey dude, get on TikTok live and do that. And I was like, all right, well, it's been a minute. Yeah, I'll hop on there and see what happens. So I get on there and I'm just shooting the shit, talking digital marketing stuff. And this guy who his like screen name was something Homestead. And I just saw it come on and he was like, yeah, I've been wanting to reach out to you. I see your content and stuff. And I was like, you probably found me from the homesteading content that I put. He's like, yeah, absolutely. So I was like, yeah, man, just, shoot me a message. Let's chat about what you're working on, right? So after I'm done with that live, I go look at his profile. Dude has like almost 700,000 followers on TikTok. He's like, yeah. He's like, I've just been trying to figure out how to do a course and all this stuff, and I'd rather just talk to someone who knows how to do it. I'm like, shit, this is awesome, So like that's one way. It was awesome. I'm like, dude, this is exactly who I'd love to help, right? So
that's cool.
That's how I do it.
What I love about that approach too is like you're not having to like just be unauthentic or like just go like hack the algorithm or whatever. You're literally just almost like documenting what you're already doing and like who you already are. And so it's like, and obviously it's attracting these types of people. And so it feels more natural. It's probably more sustainable in terms of like posting content. You're not having to like get in your head, every time you go to post, or like wonder what to post. Like it's easier to post, and then you're attracting people that you like and want to work with. And you're not like banging your head against the wall, like dreading hearing from these types of people. I mean, I love that. I think I need to do that more. I think I'm a little bit more reserved and polished in my situation. Dude, I look back at my content too and I'm like, oh, I hate that I like
but that's the only way to move forward, man. You always suck at first. Like I still look at my content, I'm like, oh, cringe, right?
It's the worst, man. It's the worst. Like, okay, this is a good point. So you were one of the people who kind of pushed me into the content game. I was way in my head about like, I've been telling clients for years to, post. I've never done it. Like, heck no, I'm an agency guy. I'm behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you like definitely were like, dude, get on camera, stop whining, complaining, just do it. And I hated it, and I still hate it a little bit. It's a little less hate, a little less difficult. But I mean, I can maybe summarize how you got me to do it, but I mean, what do you tell people that have a hard time posting and like, how do you push them over the ledge, man?
I got this for you, dude. Like, so paid advertising, in my opinion, is awesome. It's amazing, right? I love it. It is, I mean, it's how you scale a business, right? Like you can't say, oh yeah, I'm just showing up on TikTok and organically I'm making millions. Like that's tough to do, right? And not only is it tough to do, it's like, again, look at your lifestyle. Do I want to be showing up, posting 4 times a day on TikTok and doing lives all day? No, like it is beautiful making money in your sleep and waking up being like, holy shit, I just had 2 payments come in while I was with the kids, right? But I do think, in this whole strategy of taking a cold lead all the way to like, I'm ready to buy, I think your organic content is the way to warm that up even faster. So here's an example. I was looking at my ads, and this one guy who's like, yeah, I just registered because I went through your content. I saw what you stand for. We have the same belief in God and politics and, with the gardening and all that stuff. He's like, you're my kind of guy. I'm looking forward to this web class. Now, he wouldn't have known that if, like the ad came through, I landed right in front of him and stopped him. He clicked, but then something happened where he went and looked at my content and started looking at what was I about? And he was like, damn, this guy's pretty awesome. Getting on that web class, right? So like, I think there's a hybrid approach of, run those ads because you're going to get in front of a target audience very fast, but use organic marketing, posting content, warm them up even quicker.
100%. I'm going to interject here with the tactical thing because, I'm an ad guy. I'm a media buyer. People come to me, hey, start running my ads. And they're not posting organic stuff. It is really hard. I mean, it used to be the case where you could just turn on some money, run traffic to your thing. But people, the trust is like at an all-time low now. Like consumers are just, they're stingy and they're, the bar is just so much higher. And so you got to be posting organically. Like that is definitely a dynamic that happens. Even if you're just going to run ads, they're going to come and look at your organic stuff. They're going to be peeping all the, videos and seeing if you're someone that they can trust and that they resonate with you. And I think that is 100% the case. Which, I mean, that's probably that logical explanation there is enough to maybe get me to do it. But, I think everyone needs to be posting and everyone's getting in their head about it because it's hard and it's uncomfortable, man. Yeah. It's uncomfortable.
For sure.
I hate it. Everyone hates it.
The question is always, well, what do I post about today? Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. What do you post? What do you, how do you answer that?
A couple of things. What am I working on right now? Right. So today I talked about putting in a low ticket offer. I was like, we're going to put in a low ticket offer. This is something that we're putting in because of X, Y, and Z and blah, blah, blah. Right. And so that was just one thing I'm working on right now. But there's other things like think about your audience. Like number one, what questions are they asking? A lot of the questions that you're asking, you can turn into content. A really cool site that you can use is answerthepublic.com. You can see exactly what your target audience is asking for questions. Answerthepublic.com. And here's the thing is like use that service and it's free. You can use a paid service as well, but use that just to get started, right? Like in the beginning, I know, like you suck at making content, right? You're awful. Yep. You don't have your voice. You are just bad at making the video. Like you're awful. But the cool part is that no one right then is listening. So it's like no one's following you. No one's listening. You're getting like the heebie-jeebies out type thing. So use that answerthepublic.com to like instill this as a habit. Once you start doing it, you start finding your voice. You start seeing what your audience is connecting with, and you just lean into more of that. Like I taught that to a client and she's like, yep, I just showed up for a year. And after a year, I know like if I want to gain more followers and more views and all that stuff, I hit this one topic and it blows up. And she didn't know that, but she wouldn't have known that if she just didn't get started. Right. So that's the biggest thing is we don't get started because we just think, well, I'm not qualified to be giving tips on my thing. There's somebody else out there who's already talking about this thing. Or, who's going to listen to old me, like all those limiting beliefs. Again, the mind game. That's the toughest part of this gig. It's just mind games. But if you just look at it as like, look, I'm just going to start getting up there and sharing shit that I wish someone would have shared with me. Like that's going to be just show up and it'll eventually start to kick in where everything just starts to happen for you. But if not, I mean, you're just gonna be looking at a blank sheet and being like, why is my business not building? Why is it not growing?
Dude, that's so relevant. I was talking to a client the other day and he is like not wanting to, and it's funny. I structured our deal I said, I'm only going to work with you if you, like I'm, it's because normally you pay a client will pay me and then we get like weekly meetings basically. I'm not allowing us to meet together unless he posts every day since the last meeting. So I said, you have to post 7 days in a row and then we can meet.
Nice.
And we've been pushing out the meetings like over and over again. So finally I text him like, yo, like what's holding you back? Like, are you scared of like what people are gonna think? Are you scared of are you uncomfortable on camera? Do you not know what to say? Like, what is it? And right now he's like, oh, I need to like research my target audience. I need to like make sure I know like who I'm talking to, and like I need to like get my message down. Like he's really like in this perfectionist mode of like, I need to like really design this before I put it out. I'm like, yo, like, first of all, no one is going to see your first 50 videos. Like
Right.
no one sees it and no one cares. So first of all, get that out of your head. Second of all, like you're not going to learn what you need to even say until like video 50, 100 even. Like you don't get that information until you're in the trenches. Like that information from the universe is withheld from you until you get into it.
Yeah.
And then once you get into it, you just start, like you just said, put the reps in, then that information is unlocked.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
Until then, man, like you're like that information, like you're going to read it on the internet. You're going to see but it's not going to be in your noggin. Like you're not going to internalize it until you get in it and you start doing it. And I feel like a lot of things are like that with the whole digital marketing game and really life in general. But it's like the actual experience of like running a campaign, putting money behind an ad campaign, the actual experience of trying out a low ticket offer, a high ticket offer, a webinar, like all this stuff that you have done. You have launched this stuff. Like you get to have like this kind of insider information that people can read about, but they don't actually like have that just special knowledge. And it really is like, it's kind of an unlock, man. It's like it's a major unlock to wealth.
Yeah. The thing that's the running joke is, Trey, what do I post? You post it, figure out what to post. And it's like, huh? But at the same time, it's exactly what you said. It's like you just get the ball rolling and then you will figure out, oh, that's what my audience likes. That's what I should post. Right. It's such a pain in the ass. I wish there was more like, okay, here's how we're going to break everything down. But again, the perfectionist would be like, okay, I have to have my hook under 3 seconds. I have to, you know what I mean? It's like, dude, no.
Yeah.
Post, get going. Stop. Right.
Yep. Do you have any advice on like, because obviously you're posting stuff like out on the boat with the family, in your garden, whatever. How do you like tie that in? Because obviously you're selling something. Like, how do you tie that into your like what you're actually selling? Like, how do you make it so that it eventually has some type of ROI? Like, are you ever thinking about that? Are you ever like, how do you do that?
I don't know because right now I'm just trying to show people like who I am so they can trust me, but I don't know how to put a measurement on, when I post this stuff, it gets this clicks, and like that's another thing about paid advertising where it's like, your data, right? But as far as organic marketing, like, I don't know. I really don't know that. I know that when I do a specific style of post or I'm at a specific spot on like my land, I do know that I'm going to get more views. Or if I say a specific thing. So for example, I've always noticed with it, like one of my hooks is always about distrust for government. Whenever I say like, no, you don't trust the government either. I get it. Always people are just like, tell me, what are you going to talk about next? Right. It's just that. So like that, I always know it. Yeah. If I want to get a video to really get out there and have people see what I'm doing, I always start with that.
So, I mean, maybe on a micro level, you're not thinking about it, but maybe on a more of a macro level, like what's kind of the, I don't know, 30,000 foot view of like organic marketing and how it plays a role in your marketing strategy? Like, I mean, why are you doing it? And like, what does that flow generally look like?
I'm just doing it because I want to pull those exact type of people towards me. So like, if you look at my stuff, I'm just cycling content or rotating the topic of content. I'll either talk about my faith, I'll talk about family, I'll talk about making money online. And usually when I do that, I'm pulling those people towards me. People who believe in God, people who are into homesteading, people who are into whatever, right? Parents. I'm pulling them towards me so that they're like, hey, this guy's just like me, and he found a way to make money online. I want to chat with this guy, right? And so I do have a way, like I'm seeing, okay, these people are coming from paid ads, these people are coming from organic, but there's no like metric of it, like I was saying. But as if we're looking out, that's how I look at it. It's just like that's how I'm posting my content, that's how I'm rotating it, that's how I'm bringing people in. I'm growing my following, and then eventually getting them into a funnel, a conversation, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm. I do want to pivot into webinars, but before we do that, I don't know, like last minute or, additional advice on just the content game in general, whether someone's trying to either get started into it. I mean, yell at my client, first of all, whether someone's trying to, get started into it, or they're frustrated, or they're like hitting walls, or, or they've been doing it for a while. I mean, again, you're in the trenches doing this stuff. What things are we needing to keep in mind as we kind of play in the content game a little bit?
Yeah. So like what I'm doing right now is I'm studying other people. I'm like, okay, how did they stop me from scrolling? Like, what was it that they were doing? Was it something we're doing? Was it something they said on the screen? So like study successful people and what they're doing. They leave clues like crazy. That's the first one, is just study like the style of that. And like, for me, I'm always looking at being like, why did I like that shit? Like, what was so good about that I stopped my scroll? I followed this guy. Like, what was it? Like, there's so many different styles of video, right?
Is there anything specific that comes to mind right now? Just while we're on the topic.
There's this one dude who's like he's just funnier and shit. I don't know how to explain it. He's just so funny, like his style of video. He just has like these different characters. But like, if you look at a lot of like, I'm just going to use TikTok as an example. I know we've been talking about TikTok a lot, but I'm going to use TikTok as an example. The reason that these TikTokers like started growing their following and their brand, their influence, is because they started showing up and they started realizing like, aha, when I do this style or when I do this thing, it gets a lot of stuff. And so they stopped doing the other things that weren't working and they leaned into the things that were working, right? And so it's the same thing for us. It's like we have to figure out, like, it's just casting that shit out there, saying what are getting the bites? Is it the styles? Is it something I said? And then when you start doing that, then you're like, aha, there's the answer. Go in for that. But to get started, to get out of your head, here's what we did. And this is what we told our clients, is make a commitment to yourself that for, I think we said 7 days. I don't want to do like, hey, for a whole year, like 7 days, give yourself your word that you're going to do this thing. And if you don't do it, there's going to be repercussions. So a couple of us said, I'm going to shave my beard if I don't do this. I don't know, man. I can't shave my beard. I can shave my head, but I can't shave my beard. Another thing that we said is that if you don't do it, you have to donate to Joe Biden. A lot of people didn't want to do that. So it's one of those things where it's like, all right, if I don't do it, this is what I got to do, right? And it was so funny because when we did that, a lot of people were like, yeah, I actually make 2 videos a day for 7 days. And I'm like, yeah, see how that works, right? So it's just interesting. It's just interesting when you get out of your head and you just start posting. And seriously, use answerthepublic.com to get it going. You'll get like 100 different topics to be talking about in your specific niche, whether it's Facebook ads, I don't know, gardening, bird watching. It doesn't matter. Like they're like that website shows you what your audience is looking for. So it's a really good way to get started fast and shoot, hit it, record, figure it out later. Right. That's the biggest part, is just go in the beginning, then start tweaking and making tweaks and seeing like, okay, how do I hook? What is it that, how long am I keeping this duration of people watching this video? All those like analytics you can look at later.
Sorry. That's so good. Oh, that's so good. I want to see you not post so I can see that shaved beard, man.
No.
Okay, I want to pivot into webinars.
Yeah.
There's obviously, just like any marketing tactic out there, it's dead. It's the best thing ever. Everyone needs to do it. No one should do this anymore. What's your take on webinars, and what kind of insider information, insider knowledge can you share with us on the webinar game in 2024?
Yeah. So I loved starting on January 2024. What did we do? Let's see if I've got it here. We did this thing that Russell Brunson talks about, the linchpin thing, right? We started implementing that, and it was awesome. It was awesome because like the webinar itself was working, right? And that was beautiful. We were getting people registered for it. People were showing up. We were making money. But we followed that one little thing where when after they register and on the thank you page, you give them an offer, right? And so some might think of this as an SLO, self-liquidating offer, right? An upsell or something like that. But what we did is we followed that strategy, the linchpin strategy, and we got people into a subscription, monthly recurring revenue right there. And so we just got people started a trial into that. And I really had to and I mean, I talked about this to you the other day. I was like, you have to switch your mindset from being like the money at the end of the web class that you get from, $1,000, $2,000 offer, whatever it may be. Like that is the money that you use to dump back into ads. Whereas before, right, an upsell is the SLO is to recoup the money that you spent on your ads, right? So I still have to tell myself, no, that's not all profit. That's money that we can dump back into ads. The real true money is getting that many people onto that monthly recurring. So that one tweak, though, I love. Even though I'm seeing it's like, oh, it's a $97 a month. If we look at that, and one little issue that I'm having right now is retaining people on that. That's just a problem that we'll fix later, right? But for right now, what's working is getting people on the trial started. We just got to work on fixing it. But if we look at it, I know you're a big data guy, numbers guy. We had 300 people sign up for their trial, right, at a $97 offer. Imagine if I was making 300. Imagine if I could retain all those fuckers. Excuse me, but 300 times 97, whatever that math is. I don't want to be math in public, but that's great income right there.
Yeah, that's insane.
That little tweak right there was like, whoa, that's nice. So again, it's just fixing one little problem at a time, but that was a great problem to have. Now it's just okay, how can we keep them on there though? So that's what I like. And you don't have to have a subscription, you don't have to have a software. I've seen people doing lots of different things, coaching offers right in there. I've seen the mailing not like kind of like a magazine almost as well. I've seen people create those. There's lots of different things that you can do to build that monthly recurring up. And it's funny. It's if you have, I don't know how many people we get in a month, but if we have 300 people registering for that web class for free, and on the next page, it's still a free offer. Start your free trial. And you're getting all these awesome bonuses with it. And you're doing that every single week. And let's say you're getting 10 people a week on that out of the 200 or whatever I said, 300, that's 10 people per week, every week after week after week. That will absolutely compound to the point where oh shit, in a year, you're damn, I have this many people buying this from me. And that's good internet money right there, man.
That's insane. Yeah. I mean, we're both seeing it right now, just in terms of the shift in the game, and a lot of marketers are starting to be a lot more conscious of exactly what you're talking. I mean, just getting people in your space, whether it's through, this linchpin model, whether it's through an SLO or a low ticket or something that gets them in your space so that you can further, indoctrinate, nurture, and either upsell, cross sell, whatever it is. And yeah, it seems like, this webinar model has been extremely successful for you in terms of doing that. Obviously there's some nice change that comes along with, some upfront stuff. I'm wearing my watch today, man.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
Do you want to share a little story about how I got this watch? You can be as vague or specific as you want, but
So do you care if I take them back to the dark day? Do you mind if I share that with them?
Yeah, dude. I want to hear. I want to hear, man.
Is it okay if I let people know? you and I have been
Absolutely.
kind of working together and stuff like that. We cool with
Yeah.
that?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Dude, I should have. I'm gonna go back and do an intro and like
Yeah,
give
whatever.
give them a little. Yeah, we're working together, but yeah, we're. I'm Trey's media buyer, everyone.
Yeah, and
Just so
he's
you know.
amazing, you guys. He's absolutely amazing. So let me take it back. So I was in my head like crazy for all of last year. And I was looking at all these people. I'm like, well, they're selling it through a $97 membership. Well, they're selling it through a high ticket. And I was like, I know how to build out all this stuff. I've been doing this nerdy digital marketing shit for so long. I'm like, well, I see how they're doing it. I'll just build that all out. And I'd build it all out. I'd launch it and it'd be like, that didn't go how I wanted to go. So I'll do this other strategy. Built that all out. Building that all out, when I put that in air quotes, it's a lot of work, right? There's so much involved with building out this like machine, right? So, and my wife would always say, okay, look, if this is the thing that you're going to do it and stick with it. And like, babe, promise we're going to be millionaires. It's going to be amazing, right? And I'd do that over and over and over again to the point where I was like, look, man, if I don't get my shit together, like I will not be able to put food on the table. I will not be able to pay my bills. And I got to go back to this thing called a job. And there's nothing against the 9 to 5. Like I would do it if I had my dad. Of course, I'm going to do that. But I didn't want to after being in this space for like 10 years, right? In the internet marketing for the last past decade. So anyways, I joined this one coaching program and I was like, I got to figure this out. I want to do this. And that's where I met this beautiful face, white, shiny teeth, Chandler, right? I'm in there and I'm seeing that he's like an ads guy. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. Like I see him on the weekly calls and stuff like this. And I'm just having stuff that's just not working out for me. So finally I was like, you know what? Let's go back to the things that actually worked. What worked? And I was like, oh, well, that webinar used to work like crazy. What if we just turn the lights on to that? And I was like, well, I can either figure out how to run ads or I can go find someone who does ads and see if we can kind of work out some kind of a deal. And so I reached out to Chandler and I said, hey man, look, I'm looking for someone to help me run ads. I have like this X amount for budget. I think we started off with like $500 for ad spend, right? Something very minimal, like very minimal. And so, you kind of took a look at it and see like, is this guy someone I want to work with? Things had to add up. Like as always, when you take on a client, like things have to add up or else it's like, sorry, no. So things must have added up. We started doing the webinar again, running traffic to it. And like that first week, man, was awesome. Like I was like, holy shit, I can buy a Christmas tree. Like I can put presents under that tree too. Right. And so like I was like, God, thank you. Like this was the answer that I needed. And that was back in January where we were like, it was like a Hail Mary toss to have Chandler do this. And right from there, I was like, well, we just spent 500. We brought in, I don't know, like a handful of clients. And I was like, let's do it again. Let's do it next week, right? Here's a little bit more money. Let's bring up to like 750, something we scaled a little bit more, right? Nothing crazy. And more people started coming. I was like, gosh, Chandler. We just kept doing that and doing that and doing that until we weren't spending $500 a week on ads. We were spending much more so we could bring in much more, right? But man, working with you, like I briefly told you about my dark time, like what I was going through. I thought I was failing as a father, as a husband, as a coach. Again, I was like, I can make all these people all these money. Why can't I make money, right? And so that's how you and I met. And so I remember telling you, like, look, man, if we have a $10,000 week, I'm gonna send you a gift, right? Send you this really cool gift that I love more than anything. I love these things, and I'm gonna send it to you. Yeah, yeah. And so we did. We had like, I remember when I was like, holy shit, 10 people came in this week. Boom. And I was like, Chandler, like we hit the 10. And you were like, I guess I'm getting that prize, whatever it is. Right. And then
I thought it was a sweatshirt.
A hoodie. Yeah, I'm gonna send you a hoodie. Yeah. Here's a cool hoodie for $13. I'm gonna send over to you. Yeah. No, I sent you this baller ass watch. And I was like, damn, that thing is sweet. I wish I had that. And I was like, that is Chandler. All of it. I didn't know your style or anything like that, but I was like, yeah, this will look good on him. That's what I'm saying.
Dude, that was awesome. And yeah, I'm definitely not like the flashiest guy, and this is the nicest thing in my closet over here. But yeah, it meant the world to me. mostly to, see that transition and to, see you kill it, obviously. So you're still killing it, and, we're still growing together, and it's just been so amazing. So yeah, that's why I wear this watch. It means so much more than like, oh, I'm this cool like internet money guy. Like
Right.
it's the transition. I think like that's a lot of internet money people, like you see the Lambos and the mansions and the this and the that. And yeah, I think a lot of those guys are jerks and idiots, but to an extent, I mean, a lot of this internet money is like representative of, of changed lives, of some cool stuff. And I think there's definitely bad apples out there, right? I mean, there's people that are scamming and just full of it, but I think there's a lot of really good apples out there and just doing solid stuff, and it's totally possible in the theme of this podcast to make money on the internet.
Yeah.
And so yeah, man, I obviously thank you for the watch, but thanks for just being awesome to work with, and yeah, dude, it's been fun. So dude, and thanks for sharing your story. I mean, it's hard to, especially being in this space, like we're talking about internet money and all this fun, exciting stuff, but like, dude, it like comes in waves, right? It's not like you hit a win and you're riding that win forever. Like it comes in waves, and I've hit my fair share of struggles, and I laughed that you're promising your wife like, oh, like this one's gonna hit it. Like the amount of times that I've told my wife like, this is the one. We're going to like you will not believe, like if this, I'm pulling out the calculator, like this is the number, this is what's gonna. It's like it never happens, man.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. The day you write down the numbers, you write out like the funnel strategy on those little boxes. Look, everyone upsell them here. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So it's just like, all right. She's just like, all right, I'll believe it when it's in the bank. Like I'm not gonna promise anything anymore. But yeah, I mean, this game is like, it's taxing, man. It's like the mental stuff that you were talking about. We're all getting in our heads. We're all looking at each other, like looking at what that guy's doing, that girl's doing, like different funnel strat. Like we're all going through this game, and it's hard, man. It's definitely an up and down situation, and just because you hit it big one time doesn't mean you're hitting it big every single day.
Yeah.
Now there are those scenarios, but yeah, it's not all day every day. So appreciate you being honest and open about that. Yeah, as we're kind of wrapping up here, I mean, any I don't know, anything more you want to add to the either, I mean, we touched on content, we touched on webinars, ads a little bit. I mean, anything else with like tactically that you kind of want to, I don't know, just put out there for beginners or experts to kind of pick up on, as you're in the trenches doing it right now, getting that special knowledge like we talked about. Any other tactics come to mind as we kind of wrap up here?
I think when it comes to like tactic and strategy and like how should I sell my thing, right? I think you do need to look at like, well, the most important is like, what do I want my lifestyle to look like, and wrap your business around that, right? A lot of like a consultant that I worked with, I helped her make a shitload of money, but she was just doing consults all day long to the point she was like, I can't even enjoy the money that I'm making, right? And so that sucks. So that's the first thing I look at. Look at the lifestyle that you want to build. I want to be not on the computer or on my phone all day long. I want to be present with my children, right? So that's what I want to build the business around that. Secondly, with that, actually, you have to say, okay, now how do I want to sell this thing? Do I want to spend time doing a webinar each week? And if you do, like, you can't just be like, oh, I did it once live and now I'm going to let this thing go and it's going to be evergreen, right? Because that sure as shit doesn't work that well unless you've been in this game for a long time and you know the things. But typically, most aren't. For right now, like what I'm doing is I'm doing low ticket offers into a high ticket offer, right? So like totally different strategy. And so, yeah, like you just have to ask yourself, like, how do I want to do it? Do I want to do, once a month or twice a month? Do I want to do a workshop? I love teaching live. I love it, dude. So like that would fit into like how I like want to run my business as well. So challenges, workshops, web classes, whatever other stuff that's going to come out here in the future, does it align with how you want to build your business? If it doesn't, don't do it. That's all I have for advice. And then if you want
Mhm.
more traffic, more money, like talk to Chandler. No shit. Like that was the best thing that we could have done, because like when you're making more money in your business, you can do more with that money. And just think of your life. It's like when you're making a shitload of money, like, yeah, that bill's paid, that's done. Like you can give more, you can do more. There's less stress. You're happy with your kids because you're not stressed out. You know, you're not telling them, shut up, dad's got to do this, right? It's beautiful. When you start making that internet money, like your life really does change in so many different ways. You become a better person, a better parent, a better lover. It's just amazing, right? I'm kind of blacking out. So that's what I would say. That's my advice for you.
Dude, that's beautiful. Obviously there's I mean, you made me think about this, but there's like infinite amount of ways to make that internet money. Obviously you talked a lot about like building that around your lifestyle. But you know, for those who are in the 9 to 5 right now, those who are in the grind, you know, and they're like, dude, this Trey guy, like that's the kind of lifestyle that I want. Like they're like, I want to do it. Yeah, there's an infinite amount of ways to do it, but like I see the, you know, this Trey guy doing it in this way where he's making well over 6, sometimes 7 figures doing this thing, only doing 2 meetings a week, which is insane. Um that's crazy. What do you tell that person? How do they build a Trey lifestyle if that resonates with them? I mean, if that's the, you know, kind of thing that they want to do, how do they do that? And we've talked about a lot of those principles, but like I don't know, what are kind of the very simple step by step to get there? And we'll plug your program here at the end, but you know,
Sure.
how do they do that?
So, dude, first off, like you need to have the mentality of like I always see these people like I'm making money passively. It's like, do you understand what passive income actually means? Because you have to put in work. Like if you're showing up on like building out content, that's still putting in work, right? You're not going to
Mm-hmm.
put your offer out there and be like, okay, well, I'm going to the beach, you know. So you have to be open and willing to say I have to put in work, right? That's the first thing. Um, that's the most important thing. And then just understanding, like we said in the beginning, like you have to get out of your head. You have to put a reminder next to your computer or wherever you're doing your work that it's like, I have to show up. There are going to be days that are going to suck. I'm going to suck. That's okay. Right. Have that as just keep that mentality and then just know that it will eventually pay off. When I was in network marketing, you know, I wanted to know, how do I crush this shit? Cause I want to be my own boss. Right. My mentor said, publish one piece of content every single day. It was video. Do that every single day. You won't have a problem with leads and money and all that stuff. And I did that, and that changed the world for me. If you can do that in any niche, you can absolutely have that happen to you as well. So that's the second thing. So mindset, consistency. If you just wrap those two things around, like all these secrets, this is dead. This is the real true secret. The secret is showing up and being consistent. Like master that. That's it. Then again, figure out, what do you want to offer for your business? Like, do you want to coach? Do you not want to coach? Do you want to do the webinar style? Do you not want to, like, once you figure that stuff out, it's really just being like, okay, this worked really, really well. Do more of what's working and do less of what's not.
Boom. Mic drop. That's beautiful. Obviously, you're teaching this stuff. I mean, you're not only in the trenches doing it, living it, but that's something that you're helping people accomplish. Obviously, you're helping us here today on this podcast learn how to do it. But yeah, if I want to go a lot deeper into how to be more like Trey, how to build my own coaching business, how to build my own course, how to build my own membership, how to really make money online, where should I come find out about you, man?
Go to Digital Cashflow Lab. Okay, Digital Cashflow Lab. I can do there. You can type my name into any social media platform. That's pretty much how that always works. Type in Trey Bearor. Look for a very hairy guy who has no trust for the government, who's probably out there trying to grow his own food. Look for that. Those are really good signs that that's me.
That's awesome, man. And you'll probably be putting out tons of different offers. Depending on when you're listening to this, I mean, you'll see different offers on how to get in Trey's world. But that's the name of the game. I mean, you got to be putting out tons of offers, I would obviously recommend getting in Trey's space, learning how to make money with this man. I mean, this guy's helped some serious killers to make some, 6-figure months and really beyond. And okay, we have a couple more minutes. I need to hear this story. I need to hear a cool case study story really quick before we get off.
All right.
I know
Sam.
I was wrapping up.
We'll talk Sam.
Yes, let's talk about
Sam.
it.
So, all right. So there was this one chick. She came to me and she was like, Trey, I want to make money. I want to start my own coaching business. And she was in the divorce stuff, right? So I was like, yeah, cool. I know nothing about divorce, but I could probably help you sell the shit out of that, right? So she was helping people create these parenting plans, right? And I was like, oh, cool. So you know how to do it. You've helped other people do it. So like check off the box. You can get people results. Sweet. So she was like, yeah, I'm making, I think she made like $3,000 a month with her stuff. And she's like, I'm a little hesitant about working with you because I know it's going to cost more than that. But I do know based off what you've done, you've helped other people do, that I will make that money back. So she had a little bit of a money mindset of being like, I can't really invest because I don't know if I'm going to get it. I don't know. I'm not certain, right? But she saw the other people doing it. So finally she talked to her husband. Her husband actually ended up selling his truck for $10,000. Yeah. Sold his truck. I had no idea about this. She told me this later. And she got started. And within that first month, we made her back $10,000, right? And so boom, instant return on investment. Like I said, you can kind of see these little like check marks of your person, right? It's like, oh yeah, I can help them crush it. There's just one little thing that they're missing. Fix that. We're off to the races, right? So we helped her do that. And then she's like, okay, but I want to keep doing that. I want to keep making that money every single month. I'm like, all right, well, we got to put a sales system in place, right? Like we need to be doing this so that you're making money, when you're not working and shit. And so we put that together. All we did was a low ticket to her high ticket offer. Just boom, boom, right to that. And she went from making $3,000 a month to now she's making $100,000 per month. It was at the beginning of the year. We're recording this, it's June, but beginning of the year, it was like, hey, let's get you on like a 7-figure year, right? And so we broke down how much she has to make, $80K a month. She's been hitting $100,000 months every single month, man, just knocking out of the park. So she went from $3,000, $10,000, 15, 20, like 50. I remember when she sent me the $50,000 a month, she was like, unfriggin' believable. She's like, do you know what this is going to do for me? And I was like, a shitload, right? It's that internet money, right? And so, yeah, she just kept doing it. And it's like, hey, all you got to do is just keep doing what's working and less what's not. And so she works 3 days out of the month. She just runs a live workshop. That's the low ticket offer. She runs that 3 days a month. People love her shit for it. She doesn't even run paid advertising on it at all. And she's absolutely crushing it, man. Like $100,000 months is insane amount of money. She's like, yeah, we got him a new truck. We actually sold the house. We're moving to my dream home in Louisiana. Like her life has changed. And it's just all because of learning these basic things. And get it out of your head. Like when you decide, fucking go for it. It's like you kind of like a burn the boats mentality. When you just do that, and I know it sucks, but when you just do it, like you become this new person, like just an animal. And God's just looking down at you and he's like, I'm going to build a friggin' machine out of this person. Right. That's what happened. So we just gave her the strategy. We're like, do this, this, and this. She did it. It's like put me in, coach, tell me what to do. She did it. Off to the races.
That's so cool, dude. I'm sure so many people right now are going to be hitting you up wondering how the heck do I do the same thing? And Trey's the guy, man. Now that you got the social proof, you got the credibility, and Trey's got the answers. Trey's got the programs. So hit him up if you're looking to build out your offers and figure out this online game. As we wrap up here, this is, I promise, my last question, but I loved what you just said. You said, I'm going to take that guy. You said that God will look down on you and say, I'm going to take that guy and turn him into a machine. What can you tell us about that experience for you, and how God has kind of shaped you during this whole experience of the internet game? Because I know that's something that is, yeah, I mean, you told me a little bit about it, but yeah, what can you tell us about kind of that experience?
Yeah. So I never grew up like walking with Christ and stuff like that, right? Like I just wasn't. I didn't grow to church and stuff like that. Again, when the world started losing its mind, I was kind of like, I kind of feel like I'm getting some signs here from the big guy. And I remember when I had done network marketing for probably about 7 years, and I was just kind of over it, and I wanted to do something of my own. My mentality was, if I can sell someone else's product, why can't I sell my own? And so I was like, screw it. Like, I'm going to create my own digital products. I'm going to sell those for 100% profit. So in that time, though, it was a really tough time because I had taken my family and we moved down to North Carolina. I'm from New York. I moved down to North Carolina, and this was pre-COVID. And I just remember begging God. I was like, man, like, tell me what you want me to do. Tell me how you want me to serve. I promise I will not let you down, and I will do it. And I had like some book next to me. I remember reading because I just thought, man, my mindset is whack. Whenever that is, I'll either work out or I'll get my nose into a book and read personal development stuff, because I was in a bad spot where I couldn't pay my bills, and it was just really, really tough then. So I beg God, tell me what to do, show me what to do, guide me, and I promise I will do it, and I won't look back, right? And we were moving back from North Carolina to New York. We decided, like, hey, we don't want to live down here. It's hot. It's so damn hot outside. And so we're like, we have no family down here. Let's go move back up to New York, where we at least are closer to our family, so our kids can grow up with their cousins. And so I needed to pay last month's rent, first month's rent to the new place that we're going to live in, plus, whatever the down payment was. So there's 2 months rent right there. And then whatever else, we had to rent a U-Haul truck to get all of our stuff up there. It totally came to $7,000 for all of that, right? So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to launch this course, and we're going to see how it goes. I remember calling my mom, like, Mom, look, if I can't make it, I might need some funds, Ma. She's like, oh, don't worry about it. Right? Like, don't worry about it. We got you, baby. Right? And so I was like, no, I didn't want to have to do that. And so I went to launch a course. And to the dime, Chandler, to the dime, exactly what we needed from moving out of that place, last month's rent, first month's rent, plus whatever for down payment, U-Haul truck, even like the lock that we needed to close the U-Haul truck, to the dime, man. We made that much money from launching that course. So like, that was some God stuff right there, being like, hey, man, I need you to move in this space a little bit. And, that wasn't even my first answer from God. Like, I was so like ignorant to it. I was like, no, there's the universe. It's the universe. It's like, come on, man. Right. It's just kind of crazy how we live in this perfect world where everything just works all together, like it's supposed to, and not think it's not a God thing. And so from that, I've had so many different signs of God and helping me and pushing me from the times I didn't know what was going on. He's like, you don't understand this, but I need you to do this right now. Right. And so I'm just grateful for it all, man. Like, from now, I'm like, all day, I'm like, let's do this Jesus stuff. Right. And so it's beautiful. That's why I love when I got to know you a little bit more, and I was like, oh man, you're all about this stuff too. This is great.
Hallelujah. Let's go.
Yeah, that's the whole story of how that worked out.
That's cool. Yeah, man. That's I love that. I feel like he molds us, right? I mean, we kind of set that intention, and he's like, all right, that's what you want. Let's go. And you're just filled with all these experiences that mold you. And a lot of times they're very, very uncomfortable experiences that kind of put you in a corner and say, okay, I trust like that. I know I, on my own strength, cannot do it. And it's those types of experiences, at least that I found, that it's like, yeah, I hated going through that. But when I'm put in that situation where I know that from my own strength, I cannot get out of this, only beyond myself am I able to get out of this whole situation. A deep evidence is just imprinted on my soul that I know I have a maker. I know I have a savior, and I know that I can get through anything through him, with him. And it's so beautiful to have those types of experiences. It's not fun, but it's so needed. And I appreciate you sharing that, man. So
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, man.
all right. Well, this will not be the last time that we hear from Trey Bearor, of course. This guy's a brother to me, and a great example to me, and just an example of a killer in the internet money space. One that we all need to kind of keep our eye on, and continue to watch as he builds his empire out, and but more importantly, his family and his garden out. Because he's building important things over there. So appreciate you, man. We're gonna definitely get you on again, and we'll talk soon, man.
Let's do it. Thanks, man.